Hello everyone and welcome to another rousing episode of Spilling the Tea Tuesday. My name is Flossie and I'm a mindset coach. If you would like one-on-one coaching to help you figure out what's going on with your situation, links will be in the description box below, as well as links for my SP course, which is 3 courses in one: how to become a master manifesting, how to create the best version of you, and how to manifest your specific person and have a long-lasting relationship. So before we get into all the excitement, I just wanted to do my calendar. I want to do my calendar. Practice being fucking merry. Yeah, because we're getting our shit fucking period. There will never be enough hot cocoa, fucking hot cocoa. Of course not. And there's never enough affirming and getting our shit. Time to dig out all the shitty party sweaters. Yeah, because we are the most popular kings and queens in our realities. We get invited to everything. And you know what? If you don't like the sweaters, just manifest them out of your reality. So, as you know, it is Spilling the Tea Tuesday, which means grab a chair, take a seat, because you know I'm going to be dropping deets all about manifestation. As usual, I made a post and I asked you guys what you wanted to talk about. And I picked the questions that were either most requested or most interesting to me. So as usual, let's go rapid style and get through all these questions. I had a bunch about being the operant power. How do you like to enter the God state? How does it feel for you? Well, I enter the God state by affirming. I'm a master manifesting. I always get what I want. Everything always works out for me. I step into my power every single day as the operant power by affirming those things. I also affirm I'm God. I'm the God of my reality. I'm the creator, and I'm the only one in my reality who has any free will. What do I feel when I affirm that stuff? Powerful as fuck. SP has really extreme and opposite opinions on things, even ones related to me. He never agrees with me on anything serious. How do I change this and make him obey? First of all, your specific person is not a robot, but they don't have any free will either. So they show up exactly as you think and as you assume. So right now, you assume that he has extreme and opposite opinions of things. Period. He is showing up exactly how you think and assume that he's going to, or she. Well, he, in this example. If you want your specific person to show up how you want them to, you need to change your perception, expectation, assumption, thoughts, whatever it is you want to call it, about them. So in other words, they're now extremely open-minded. They're emotionally mature. They are emotionally intelligent. They agree with you on most things. I would create affirmations that would be like that. Or you can just write that shit on a list and affirm that he is perfection. He is perfection. He is thriving. And when you think of him, you can only see him as that version. Period. He's that way because you've made him that way and he's conformed to being that way with you. How to know if someone is manifesting us? What are the signals? Did you give someone free will in your reality to manifest you? Because in your reality, you're the only one with free will. You're the one that does the manifesting. People in your reality don't manifest you unless you give them the free will to do so. If you give people the free will to do so, which I do not, I would imagine that it would look like how it looks like for them. You probably would start thinking of them suddenly. You would have all these pings. You'd suddenly find you have feelings for them. You'd want to contact them. You'd want to hang out with them. You'd be falling in love with them. But you're the one in your reality who has free will. So I would say that they're not manifesting you unless, again, you give them the free will to do so. Why is there so many people struggling with conscious manifesting if it is supposed to be easy? Because a lot of people, first of all, don't have the, confidence in themselves as a conscious creator. That's one of the reasons. When people are new to conscious creation and becoming the guru of conscious creation, master manifesting, this is a completely different lifestyle for them. Additionally, we have been conditioned for many, many years to look at the 3D with our 5 senses and to take it as completely real, that it's not changeable, that we don't have the power to change things. Like, how many times I even just overheard someone saying today that it's like, well, you can't control anything, you can't do anything about anything, because that is the way we're taught. That is the way the 3D seems to most people. That is what we have as part of our belief system. But then when we learn about conscious creation and we start affirming and persisting and then paying attention to what we manifest, our confidence starts to build. And as someone's confidence starts to build, they will find that their manifestations just start coming in, coming in, coming in. It is that confidence. It is that stepping into their power as operant power that causes this to be easier and easier. You know, I've told you guys once and I'll say it again, there's a lot of things that I literally don't affirm for it. I literally think that I have a preference, that this is what I want, and it's what the fuck shows up. I maybe think about some things once or twice. Some of it's literally just a fleeting thought, and that is what shows up in my 3D reality. So it's the same way for you guys. But that's why it seems difficult and people struggle with it, because they're having to change the entire mindset. They're having to get confidence, and they're having to start to learn how to control their thoughts. That's another thing. So yes, it's easy. Yes, we're natural manifestors, but our entire lives until we're spiritually awake has been on autopilot. We've been having life happen to us instead of making it happen for us. Why isn't my manifestation instant when I'm manifesting a simple text? It can literally be your mindset about it. Yes, manifesting a text can be simple, but what is your thoughts about it? What are your assumptions about it? You know, people will sit there and say, well, I'm just manifesting a simple text. Yeah, but if you literally have the assumption that your specific person isn't going to text you, even if the building was on fire, to save their life, then that's what your assumption is. And that's what's going to be mirrored back to you, reflected back to you, until your dominant thought or assumption about that topic changes. Tips for manifesting and what you want to tips for manifesting and what to do when you feel like giving up. This is when you just have yourself get out of victim mentality mode by going on a rampage. You know, literally do whatever hypes you up. Watch your favorite videos. Do some rampaging. Because your 3D is not reflecting back to you what you want, doesn't mean that there isn't movement. So many of you guys are so stuck on, well, I don't see anything happening in my 3D. You don't know what has to move. Is it truly your dominant thought? Only you can answer that. When I've had a lot of clients and we've looked at their, affirmations, or we look about what they're thinking about, they're not thinking about shit that is going to help their 3D to conform. If you're literally affirming stuff that implies that you're not together, or you're thinking about a reunion scene all the time, or you're constantly bitching to your friends, or you're constantly looking for evidence. More looking for evidence creates what? More looking for evidence. So stop trying to look through the 3D for confirmation and manifest other things. Find other things to do. Get your confidence in manifesting. What to do when you can manifest everything, but not the thing you want most. Even when on a logical level, you know it's easy to do is manifesting smaller things. Any advice on how to overcome this resistance to trick your mind to see those things as not so big? That is changing your mindset. It is constantly, not constantly all the time, 24/7, but it's reminding yourself, it is as easy for me to manifest $1 million, a specific person, as it was for me to manifest and name something that you found easy to manifest. If you want the bigger things to seem easy to you, it is telling yourself and creating the assumption that it is just as easy for you to manifest $1 as $1 million. It's just as easy for you to manifest getting a stranger to call you goddess as it is to get your specific person to say that they love you. That is what you can do. This might be a silly question, but do you have any advice on keeping faith after reading fake success stories? Yeah. Don't necessarily compare yourself to other people. If someone posts a fake success story, which a lot of times, people are posting what they're manifesting and they're writing as if, and it's mistaken as a success story or something. Don't think like, well, because somebody posted something, that means that manifestation doesn't work. Manifest your own shit and stop worrying about everybody else. It's your reality. You don't need to worry about what Joe Schmo's doing, okay? Put that shit in the trash where it belongs. You can use things to say they've done it, which means I can do it too. I'm doing it and I have my stuff right now. But if you're going to use it for any other reason but to be like, well, it doesn't really work because someone posted a fake success story. What? No. You manifest your own stuff, worry about you, concentrate on you. As you manifest things and your confidence builds, you won't give a fuck about what Susie Q is doing over here, because you're going to be like, bitch, I got my shit up over here. Period. What to do when no matter what, the negative thoughts feel more real than your affirmations? Of course they're going to feel more real. You have listened to Felicia, your ego, protect you since you've been able to recognize that Felicia exists. That is what's protected you. That is your little ego telling you and regurgitating all the shit that you've been told since you've been a kid, okay? And so, yes, it seems more real to you because you've listened to that voice in your head since day one, basically. And so, as you affirm and think thoughts that are in line with your manifestation, those thoughts will eventually become more real and outweigh the bitch that's in your head. And again, as you get confidence as the operant power of your reality, as you are stepping into the, I'm a master at manifesting, I'm a guru of conscious creation, I am fucking God of my reality, and you start to feel more powerful, that little foolish ego voice will be put more in the trash where it belongs, because if it's not helping you and she's not being your homie, that shit just needs to go. But it will become more real. You have to give it time. This is where persistence is key. You continue to persist. Got a bunch of questions that really just related to circumstances, and circumstances don't what? Do not matter. Period. Can we change our horoscope readings and match horoscope for marriage with SP? I've been told his and my horoscope doesn't match for us to get married, and our families won't allow it. How to change this? Number one, that is the circumstance. Circumstances don't matter. I literally would affirm and persist for exactly what I wanted, and whatever has to move will move for you to get your manifestation. Whether that means that your horoscopes literally change, or whether that means that people who cared suddenly don't care anymore for whatever reason that ends up occurring, whatever has to move will move for you to get it. Now, you can, if you wish to control part of the how, which I don't always fully recommend, you can be like, you know what, our horoscopes change, and you can focus on, isn't it so wonderful that SP and I have matching or compatible horoscopes and our family, is so happy or whatever. That is one way to go about it. I personally would probably be like, everyone approves of our relationship. Everyone's so happy we're together. And I would affirm that we're happily married. I feel so peaceful being married to my specific person, etc. I would probably focus less on the horoscope. You're focusing on a circumstance and changing that dependent on getting your manifestation, when that may not even have to change for you to get your manifestation. You could get your manifestation other ways. And if you say, absolutely not, it's a circumstance, I'm telling you, you're giving the circumstance power over what? You, the God of your reality. Circumstances literally don't matter. We've had so many people who have said, this was a circumstance and that was a circumstance, and the circumstance went away, or people just stopped giving a shit about it for whatever reason. Something happened and their manifestation was able to come forth. So I would stay focused that everyone's happy that you're together and that you're happily married, and call it a day. Best wording for manifesting long distance SP to come visit you. I'm so happy SP comes to see me all the time. I love our weekly date nights. I love that SP's always coming to see me like every weekend. I love that SP's always taking me out. Period. I know circumstances don't matter, but what if your SP resents you, not cheating related? Circumstance. And like I said earlier, your specific person showing up, how you assume, how you think they're going to. If you think that they resent you, if you think that they have all these negative feelings towards you, that is how they're going to show up in your 3D reality. I literally would affirm things like, everyone loves me. I am always loved and forgiven. And I would just stay focused on that my SP and I, our relationship is stronger than ever, that we're closer than ever, that we have the closest, best bond, however that you want to word it, that has ever existed on the face of this planet, and being in a healthy relationship, because affirming any of those things would mean that they can't resent you anymore. But stop seeing your SP as a version who resents you, because as long as you see him as an unforgiving person who is sitting on a pile of resentment, resenting you, how is he or she going to appear? Resenting the fuck out of you. So let that go. Stick that in the trash. They're now loving, understanding, emotionally intelligent, more in love with you than they've ever have been. You feel more in love than you ever have been. End of story. Affirmations for a brand new car that's way over my budget. Budget, circumstance. Put it in the trash where it belongs. I would just literally affirm I love my brand new, and then say whatever car it is that I want. Because circumstances do not matter. You will either come into that amount of money that you need, or you will come into that car some sort of way. But whether it is over your budget or not is irrelevant. If you're affirming and persisting that you have that car, guess what? You'll get that car. Manifesting a celeb relationship, but can't always simulate feeling it real because we don't know what it's like. What to do and what approach to take to be successful when manifesting a serious, genuine relationship with instant recognition. You don't always have to feel it real in order for you to get your manifestation. You think from the end. You affirm and persist that you're in a relationship with that person. As far as feeling it real, if you really want to feel anything, affirm that you feel more love than you ever have been. Affirm how you believe you would feel in that relationship. Would you feel relieved? Would you feel happy? Would you feel peaceful? Would you feel content? Would you feel grateful? And then use the words that resonate with you. If you're like, I am so happy being in a relationship with, when you affirm that, you will start to feel happy. It doesn't matter if you don't know what a relationship has felt like with this person. If you've ever had a relationship before and you know what love feels like, you can just embody the state of feeling loved by somebody. You can literally just affirm, like I mentioned before, I feel more loved than I ever have been. I am made to feel special by, or things like that. And think of that person. You don't have to actually know what it feels like to be in a relationship with them, because we manifest people into our lives all the time that are new to us, that fulfill different roles that we assign them. And we don't know what it's going to feel like to exactly be with that person if we've never been with them before. No, but you can pull off of other previous life experiences, or you can just literally affirm the emotion and you can feel that way. But you literally don't even necessarily have to feel anything. You can just affirm from the reality, think from the reality that you want to be in. Got a bunch of generalized manifestation questions about just a handful of things, and I'm going to start going through them. Can we manifest anything like physical appearance changes, money, etc. with inner conversation? All I've heard it about is people using inner conversation with manifesting SP. Yeah, because inner conversation is basically either the thoughts that you're having in your mind, like with the different parts of you, or it's imagined conversations that you have with other people. So you can have inner conversations with yourself talking about, oh, I look so beautiful. I am absolutely the most sexiest man, woman on the face of this planet. Every time I look in the mirror, I look even more stunning. You look up sexy in the dictionary, there's literally a fucking picture of me. Everybody's always telling me how gorgeous I am. Everyone's always complimenting me. Or you can have like an inner conversation with a friend where a friend's telling you like, oh my God, you are so drop dead gorgeous. What the fuck did you do to have, glow up, or to be so glowing, or be so radiant, etc. You can do that about anything. It's just part of mental diet, honestly. Do we have to have an end scene to visualize for committed relationship, and visualize it often, or affirming and scripting about it is enough? Is hearing us tell our bestie back with SP an end scene? First of all, and I'm looking at you, you see me looking at you, take the back with SP and stick that shit in the trash where it belongs. Why? Because it does what? It implies that you're not together. If you are back with somebody, that means that right now you're not together, to me. If it implies to you about like back together, I don't know. I don't like those type of phrases. Some people might argue, well, I'm back with them now. Well, I still think that when you affirm stuff like that, it can really stay your mind focused on the old story and not being together. I would just affirm that, your bestie could be saying, I'm happy that you guys are together. You guys are the perfect couple, but I wouldn't use the word back. I wouldn't use anything that makes me think of not being together. That's what it does to me. If it implies something to you, it implies something to you. But I feel like that is staying stuck in the old story. Nikki and I made a video on that about some of the mistakes that people make. Like when they don't have their specific person, like some common pitfalls that people fall in that is probably keeping them stuck. And affirming anything that does not 100% absolutely, or visualizing anything that does not 100% absolutely imply that you are already together, I would never do it. You can affirm, you can script, and that is enough. If you want to visualize, you can. A lot of people are really good at visualizing, and they like visualizing some sort of scene that would imply that they've been with their person for a few minutes. Not a reunion scene, but something that is in the future, like it's happening now, that it would imply that they're in a solid, loving, committed relationship. You can do that, or you can just affirm and script, and for a lot of people, that's what they do, and that's enough. How do I manifest legit skills like music, language, etc. without rigorous practice? So you can have base affirmations that you form your 3D reality on about how you learn. And so you can affirm things like, my brain is supercomputer. I pick up new information like a drop of a hat. I have to read something once, try something once, and I've got it like that. I don't have to really hardly practice anything, and I'm able to do it like an expert. You affirm things like that, and it'll make learning things extremely easy for you. You can also take the skill that you want and be like, I play the piano like a concert pianist. I speak Spanish like a native. I cook better than Gordon Ramsay. I make Martha Stewart look like, you know, the person cooking at Denny's. Whatever it is that you want to affirm and be all extra about the skill that you're acquiring, you can affirm those things, but also have affirmations about how you learn, how quickly you learn, how your brain works. And people are able to pick up skills, learn things very quickly. Can I become a millionaire in 2 weeks? Can you? Of course you can. Can you manifest that? Absolutely. Do you think it's possible? That's where the real question lies. Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible that you can manifest and become a millionaire in 2 weeks? Because that's what you have to overcome in order for you to manifest that. Can you change your perceptions and how your 3D reality works? Of course, you can affirm I get my shit hella quick. I get my manifestations easily and instantly. I get my manifestations as quick as a snap of a finger. You can literally change how quickly you get things, but you have to have the mindset where your dominant thought about that manifestation is that you're a millionaire and that you've got that money and that you got it quickly and easily, and money's always coming to you from all sources or whatever. But can someone become a millionaire in 2 weeks? Yeah, there's people who win the Powerball, period. That's like becoming a millionaire overnight, basically. Does the concept of remote seduction with an SP work? It's your reality. Does it work? Basically, remote seduction is getting yourself into a state akin to sleep, because you're getting yourself very relaxed, and then in your mind you're making a connection with that other person. And then once you feel like you are connected, you see them, you call them to you, you have this connection, and then you're talking to them, and usually you're visualizing some sort of scene that has to do with sexual practices or having conversation or whatever that it is. But essentially it's a form of visualizing in a state akin to sleep. Because a lot of people, when they do, remote seduction, they keep visualizing over and over again in different settings, similar scenes, similar conversations with their specific person. And they're in their mind making like a telepathic or energetic link. So it's going to work for people who assume that it will. And it also, like, again, is a form of going into a state akin to sleep and having a visualization with your specific person. So if you want to do remote seduction, do it. There's no harm in it. I still would avoid any sort of reunion scene. If you're going to do remote seduction, whatever conversations that you have or whatever scenes that you visualize when you're doing it, make sure that it's like you guys are back together and having like some really nice conversation or whatever it is that you want to think about. But basically, you're getting into sats and doing visualization. What are your thoughts on angel numbers? Well, a lot of people report that when they are in sync with their manifestation process, they see a lot of angel numbers. Now, it's probably their assumption that they're going to see them, or they probably notice them more when they're going through that and then assign the meaning like I'm on the right track. And so then when they feel on the right track, they see angel numbers. Remember, you assign the meanings to everything. Assign meanings that work for you. If you want to assign the meaning that when you see certain numbers, that means to you that you're on the right track, then you can do that. You can use it as, I wouldn't pay a lot of attention to it. I wouldn't get excited about it. I tend to see a lot of either a certain specific number or like actual specific dates. And so I feel like when I see that, it's just like, yeah, I'm on the right track, and I just keep going. I don't exactly like throw parties over it. I do sometimes, see that it happens. My manifestation buddies and I like laugh at it, but it means whatever you say it's going to mean. It's whatever meaning that you assign to it. Do you have any thoughts on how focusing on gratitude and appreciation affects the mindset and in turn manifestation resistance? Of course, the better that you feel about manifesting and your life in general, the better your mindset's going to be. If you are literally focusing on that you are grateful for your life, you are grateful for all your abundance, that you are, grateful that you've manifested XYZ, you are going to evoke feelings of positiveness, feeling grateful. What does that do? A lot of times that can make the manifestation process easier if you're also paying attention to what you've manifested by showing it gratitude and by thinking, I am so grateful that I manifested XYZ. A lot of people have the assumption that when you're grateful for what you have, you allow more having. And so if that is your assumption, that's what's going to be mirrored back to you, reflected back to you. At a minimum, it's going to make you feel better about the manifestation process to feel good, grateful, etc., and appreciative towards what you manifest and your journey. So, of course, the better that you feel, the less resistance you usually have, right? Right. Do you have to have gratitude and appreciation? No. Is it nice? Probably. Does it make the process easier? You're having a more positive mindset. So, of course, yes. Affirmations for your SP to be mentally well. I am so grateful. There we go. I am so grateful that my SP is happy. My SP is the most happiest that they've ever been. My SP is mentally stable. My SP feels calm, cool, and confident at all times. You can affirm things like that. You can actually, again, write the list of how you want them to show up and affirm that they're perfection and they're thriving. When affirming for SP, should you absolutely always affirm in the end, I'm confused, or in steps? The person was asking about steps. They're confused about what is best to do. What do you have the least resistance to? What do you feel most comfortable with? What feels most natural to you? I do agree that when you're affirming for a specific person, you should, in my recommendations, affirm an emotion. How are they feeling about you? Crazy about you? Madly in love with you? Obsessed with you? If you want to go to the end, go to the end. I feel peaceful being in a relationship with or being married to. If you want to affirm in steps and you're in no contact, SP is constantly blowing up my phone. Can you do both? Yes. Because no, it's not contradictory, because if you're in a relationship or married to somebody, they're going to be blowing up your phone. The next step of dates, they're going to be taking you on dates. It's not contradicting to affirm for phone calls or for dates while you're affirming an end result, but it's like what feels more comfortable to you. Some people feel a lot of anxiety if they try to go to the end. Some people feel anxiety if they're affirming in steps. So do an internal barometer check-in and, say the affirmations and how do you feel about it? But that's literally what I tell people. I have a lot of clients who do both, and I have a lot of clients who choose to do one over the other based on how they personally feel. It's really up to them. It's their reality, how they want to do it. So I've been on my game in self-concept and not reacting to the 3D, but I'm not sure why I still haven't manifested. I mean, what could be the reason for the time delay when I'm doing everything right? So you have to remember, your manifestation is going to unfold in the most beautiful way possible to you. You, again, can change the rules of your 3D reality, and you can affirm, I have zero resistance. I get my shit hella quick. Every time I want something, and, that I get it instantly. But having said that, it's like if you're in no contact with your specific person, would it seem realistic to you for you to wake up and have them be in your bed? Of course not. Would it seem logical to you that, your SP shows up when you're in no contact and the last conversation was, I hate you, and there was 50 third parties, that they show up with a wedding ring and asking to marry you? Probably not. And so if you want to be married, you're not going to wake up one day being married. You're not going to wake up one day with the SP in your bed. You might they come to the door one day begging for your holy forgiveness, but it could be you run into them at the store. It could be that they call you. It could be that, you go to a party and your friend invited them and you see each other. There's, a million different ways that you could manifest back a specific person. And if that's what you're talking about. If it's about money, or like I was talking to a friend recently, excuse me, and we were talking about this subject and we used like a job, because some people are like, why don't I have this instantly, etc. Why is there a time delay? Well, like if you're manifesting a job and you filled out a bunch of job applications, well, someone's got to look at that. Someone's going to call you to interview you if that's your assumption. Now, it could be that you walk into the grocery store, you meet somebody, and that person's like, oh, I totally want to hire you, and they fucking hire you, and you don't ever interview, you don't ever do anything. But it's like, what is your assumptions about it? Because that's part of how it's going to show up. I still think, at least in my 3D reality, that sometimes people have to move for us to get our manifestations. And if that's the case, we don't always know what has to move. I don't necessarily believe in divine timing, but I will tell you that some of the things I've manifested consciously and unconsciously, if I had gotten that manifestation the second that I wanted it, it wouldn't have worked out for me. And so I ended up getting the manifestation at a better time for me after a couple other things had fallen in place for me. And again, I don't believe in divine timing. I don't think that there's some universe that's going to be like, you're only going to get this manifestation when I fucking say so. No, but I do think that sometimes we end up getting something when it works out the best for us. And so what are your assumptions about that? See, I have those assumptions. I have assumptions that, everything always works out for me, but I also have the assumptions of like, I get things when they're best for me. And so I think that that's why my 3D reality, it appears like I get stuff when it is best, most serving of me. And so there can be multiple reasons for the time delay. Are your thoughts truly in line with your manifestation? You can check to see where you are in your mindset. If it's a specific person, what do you think would happen if you texted them? What do you think would happen with your specific person if you called them? What do you think would happen if you ran them on the street? If your answers to that are they would fucking ignore me, they would have something negative else to say about me, blah, 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 that can still help you gauge where your mindset is. Not saying that it's got to be perfect, but you at least want, like, even if your first thought is, well, I don't know if they'd answer the phone, you want to be on top of your mental diet enough to where you'd be like, of course they'd answer the phone. They're madly in love with me. Do you see what I'm saying? If it's about money and you're thinking about having a bunch of money and your first thought about money is there's no fucking way I'm going to have some money, then you have a little bit more work to do, because your dominant thought about what it is that you want has to be in line with what you want to manifest. You don't have to believe it, but it still has to be, your dominant thought has to be in line with what you want to experience. That's at least how it works in my 3D reality for me. How do we deal with fear of change and manifesting? Like, I realized what hold me back sometimes is I'm scared of actually living out my desires. You can affirm things like, I am comfortable receiving all of my manifestations. I feel worthy and deserving of my manifestations. I feel worthy and deserving of the life that I want. If you are actually feeling scared and afraid of it, I'd tap those emotions out with EFT. I'd maybe write an FU letter about feeling that way and affirm that I feel safe and secure at all times. I think it's a combination of the unknown, not feeling safe and worthy of getting what we want, that sometimes creates that fear in people. And, being afraid of getting what you want can, going through the logical 3D perspective can cause like self-sabotage behaviors, or feeling like I really don't want this and continuing to like not allow or reject your manifestation. I've been trying to manifest my SP back and had not been seeing movement, which I know we may not necessarily see. I did an FU letter last week and burned it, and since then I don't really feel anything about the situation. So now I'm not feeling the affirmations. Is this normal? Yes, you kicked your manifestation off the pedestal. It is normal to, when you put yourself on the pedestal and you don't feel the desperate need and lack for what it is that you want, it becomes more of a preference. Like, sometimes people feel a little bit of a disconnect. You can still affirm and persist, maybe tweak your affirmations a little bit, maybe add emotion to your affirmations, maybe do more thinking from the end or scripting, changing a little bit of what you're doing. But we're not used to not having the feelings of desperation and lack. So when it goes away, we're like, do we actually want it anymore? We actually do. But a lot of the times we're just so used to feeling desperate, needy, and clingy, and creating this weird power dynamic with our manifestation, that when that goes away, we're convinced that we must not want it, or we don't feel it anymore, or we're not feeling the affirmations. It can also be that you've reached the position of knowing that it's yours and it belongs to you. And some people, when they get to that point, like, really don't feel the need to affirm anymore. Do an internal check-in and see which one is you. If I manifest something, for example, my mom, does it only show up in my reality or in hers too? And if it's only be in mine, then what's the point? Because they wouldn't witness it then anyways. What I would say is then, when you're manifesting something, it shows up in your reality because it's your reality. It depends like how you see realities. Whether you see it as complete total co-creation and that everyone here is experiencing their own reality in their own little bubble, or whether it is like solely your reality and you're experiencing other people, but that they have a complete and sole other reality that they're experiencing their reality in. It really depends what you subscribe to. But I think at the end of the day, you can just answer the question without going down too many rabbit holes, because I'm not going to get into all those theories. I don't know about ever. With just this, do you want your mother in your 3D reality to appear happy and to have what she wants? Because if you want to experience in your 3D reality your mother being happy and having what she wants, and you enjoying seeing that she has what she wants, why wouldn't you want her to have it? So what? Even if she has another reality that you don't really get to experience and she has what you want, why would you want her to be miserable in your reality? Because do you want people in your reality to be miserable just because they might be in another reality somewhere else? No, of course not. Just see the people in your reality as happy and having what they want, and manifest for people in your reality. Manifest for their happiness and think for them to have things. Why wouldn't you? What to do if I'm afraid of some bad thoughts that I can have when I'm on autopilot? I mean, thoughts that I'm not aware of. Start becoming the observer and paying attention to your thoughts. Because if you want to master your reality and make life happen for you instead of having it happen to you, you're going to learn how to observe your thoughts so that you can make sure your thoughts are in line with your manifestation. This is a lifestyle. We don't let our mind and Felicia running around being on autopilot thinking a bunch of bullshit. We stick that shit in the trash where it belongs, and we take control over what our mind does, because that's how we have free will, is we can control what we think. And of course, my laptop dies when I've got 2 questions left. So now we're plugged in and we're going to finish the last 2. I would like to ask if it's normal to get panic attacks after affirming for some amount of time, if it can be a transition period, and what to do. Persisting with desire affirmations, or start using some for healing those attacks. General affirming like everything is okay, I feel safe, I feel calm, didn't help me. I feel like if you are getting panic after affirming for some time, it is because, one of the reasons because, and the reason I'm going to focus on, a lot of times people feel anxiety or panic when they're affirming, when what they're affirming for does not align with what they see in the 3D reality, especially people who could be more prone to anxiety. So if you're affirming and persisting that you're in a relationship with your specific person, but last you knew, they literally said, I fucking hate you, I don't ever want to talk to you again, I've got a third party, and you're affirming that you're in a loving, committed relationship, that could possibly make you feel anxious. Why? Because you feel initially like you're lying to yourself. You're feeling like it's not true. And you're affirming and persisting and trying to think from a reality that you want to experience, but that your 3D senses are telling you doesn't exist, and that you're being delusional. And so what to do about that, number one, is realize it's something that goes away, particularly when your mind starts having a buy-in and you start learning how to be the operant power of your reality. Remember, I've talked about the Olympian. We tell people for years that they're an Olympic athlete, that they're an Olympian, that they're a gold medal winner. And they're like children who have not even, other than being told, probably thought much about the Olympics, okay? And so if you're having panic attacks, you can do a few different things. Number one, you can use EFT to tap out the emotion. Number two, you can tap your affirmations in, reduce the anxiety by tapping in your affirmations, because tapping on those meridian points reduces cortisol, which is your stress hormone. It actually makes just changes in the brain, and it promotes a feeling of calm and wellness. Those are facts. I mean, I even studied that in school. You can also change your affirmations. Sometimes when you say things as a statement, your mind sees that as more of a lie. When they do kinesiology or muscle testing and they have people say something that isn't true, their arm will go straight down. It has no resistance to it being pushed. But if they change it to a question, even if they're still saying the same thing, but they've changed it now to a question, they're able to remain strong. The arm doesn't get pushed down. So change your affirmations to the form of a question. Reduce your resistance and therefore the anxiety that you're going to feel by changing the style of the affirmation. You can add flair, like swear words, to help reduce an anxiety that you feel. Sometimes by swearing, it puts you in a position of feeling powerful, because you're like being annoyed when you're affirming. So instead of saying, SP's constantly contacting me, you could be like, why in the fuck is SP constantly blowing up my phone? My phone doesn't stop ringing. It never stops moving because he contacts me so fucking much. So you're putting yourself in a position of feeling powerful, because you're like adding flair with swear words, almost like a little irritated, like he's almost annoying me. He contacts me so much. You can also write an FU letter about the situation and reduce whatever emotional attachment that you have around the situation. That can help to reduce the anxiety and resistance, which leads to the panic that you feel. You can also affirm things like, I always feel comfortable when I'm affirming. Every time I affirm, I feel more powerful. I feel safe and secure while affirming. I know that saying I feel safe and calm didn't help you, but maybe you need to say the safe, calm, powerful, and then name what it is that you're doing. I feel powerful every time I affirm, period. Try some of those and see how that helps you. How to deal with a broken heart while manifesting SP. Tap out the emotion with EFT. Write the infamous Nikki FU letter where you say everything you wish you could say to their face, how you feel about it, how you feel about manifesting it, and then burning it. At least that's how I tell my clients to do it. That helps you to get through the emotion that you're having, because it helps to let that emotion out, because the less that you feel like you have a broken heart, the easier it is to affirm and persist and think from the end, because the sadness and grief, it can make it harder for some people to, like if SP just crushed your heart and you feel like they took your heart out, stomped on it, and threw it in the trash, which is not where we want it, obviously, it can be hard for some people to be like, you know, SP loves being my boyfriend, SP loves being my husband. I feel so happy being married to SP, when they just feel like someone's punched them in the face with, you know, out of the blue, and getting sideswiped or getting their feelings hurt or finding out there's a third party. So if you can write the FU letter and get that emotion out and get some of that pain out, it can make it a lot easier to think from the reality that you want to be in. You can do EFT. You can use the Ho'oponopono, where you are doing the mantra. I sometimes get them reversed, but it's like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, or thank you, I love you. But you repeat that, and it's a forgiveness mantra that you can say for yourself and for anyone else. Learning to let some of the pain go and help yourself rapidly move through that grieving process of at least letting go of that pain can make it a lot easier to manifest your specific person. Because I just think that when you're stuck in emotional turmoil, it just makes it harder to affirm for somebody. And if you can get rid of some, like, let go of some of that emotion that you're having, the overwhelming emotion, then at least you can feel better while you're affirming. You can feel better when you think about them. And you're going to, you know, if something does happen in your 3D that could trigger you, you'll spiral less, because you're not going to be coming from a place of heartache. You're going to be coming from a place of power. So put yourself back in that position of power by getting rid of that excess emotion. Step into your power daily by reminding yourself, I'm a master of manifesting. I always get what I want. Everything always works out for me. I literally am the guru of conscious creation. It is shown to me daily that I'm the most powerful manifester that has ever fucking existed on the face of this planet. I'm the god of my reality. I legit am the only one with free will, and everyone and everything must do as I wish. Everyone and everything must conform to my thoughts and assumptions. The 3D is my fucking bitch, period. So that does it for all the questions for this Spilling of the Tea Tuesday. Keep your eye out for my next post to what? Put more questions for me to answer for the next Spilling the Tea Tuesday. See you later.